Welcome to another edition of Saturday Sit Down. This week we go to Saskatoon, where we find one of the fan favorites in Lethbridge Hurricanes history. That is Carter Folk. And Carter, I guess first off, how is life treating you in the time that we live right now? What have you been up to?
It's good. I really have no complaints. I spent kind of a summer just working outside of Yorkton, and we've been back in Saskatoon doing some school stuff and starting to see the guys on the hockey team and doing a bit of skating, but trying to keep up with school and just trying to find some activities to keep me sane. So
You, of course, have played the last 3 years with the University of Saskatchewan Huskies. We'll get to that a little bit later on, but how is the school dynamic right now? I know a lot of universities are doing online schooling. Some aren't. What are you doing right now?
ours is all online. They had come out with that a while ago and said that first semester, and actually last week they came out and saying second semester is all going to be online. It's a bit adjustment, especially like going in the upper year classes. You kind of get into the smaller classes sizes where it's actually discussion and kind of not just sitting there listening to lectures. So it's been a bit different, but trying to keep up and trying to get on at least somewhat of a normal schedule and kind of stick with that. But it's been okay. We've been at it for a couple of weeks, so starting to pick up right away here.
How do you keep yourself motivated? Because talking to people that have been working from home, people that have been schooling from home, I can say personally, I would have a tough time keeping myself motivated and accountable. How do you?
I don't know. I've always just been, I guess, pretty good at that. School is, I don't know, I'm motivated not to fail classes, so that's a good motivation, and you got to keep up with it, or else you're just gonna have to take it again. So I would say that's motivation, and other stuff is kind of honestly just try to keep from boredom. I've had a lot of time not doing a lot, and I like to keep busy. So whether it's school or whether it's getting outside for a bike ride or doing anything, I'm been working all avenues to try and keep boredom down. So
That's fair. Boredom is a thing, especially in today's society. All right, let's get to it. I want to talk about your time with the Lethbridge Hurricanes, and that goes back to October 24th, 2013. You, of course, drafted by the Seattle Thunderbirds, only played 7 games for the T-Birds before being traded to Lethbridge. What do you remember when you found out that you were being traded to Lethbridge? Of course, I'm sure the first thing that went through your mind was, hey, that's closer to home.
yeah, it was a bit of a shock. I remember the day pretty clearly. Getting called into the Russ Farwell's office in Seattle and him kind of breaking the news. And I remember just hearing around the league that the two guys had been asked for trades and kind of being naive to what that meant for anyone else. But I was excited. I kind of figured it would be more of an opportunity to play. At the time, I kind of wasn't playing very much, and where Lethbridge was in the standings at that moment, I kind of figured I'd be thrusted into a spot where I could play every night. And that part I was excited about. I remember kind of having some anxious moments about school. I was in grade 12 at the moment, had just kind of got my feet under me at an American high school and starting to meet some people, and then kind of get traded back to Alberta. And that was a bit of an adjustment, just kind of trying to pick up and make sure the classes were all settled. But once that all kind of got settled, it was a good group, and it was a young group, and guys that had guys that were my age. And right away, I felt kind of welcome, and I knew I was going to play, so I was happy to be there.
You didn't come in that trade alone. Of course, you came with Riley Sheen, who,
Mhm.
I experienced my first year in Lethbridge, really good guy. Was it nice to kind of have somebody that you were somewhat familiar with in a situation like that at 17 being traded?
For sure, and Sheener was a guy that had kind of gone through being traded like that before. He kind of had the same situation being traded to Seattle as part of another trade. So Sheener was really good to me. He was awesome, and kind of took me under his wing to show me what it was about, and kind of made that transition together. So that was really good to have someone with me for sure.
You mentioned when you got traded to Lethbridge, it was in the 2013-2014 season. We know how the team ended, but when you got through that first year, you played 43 games, 105 penalty minutes. The second year, it didn't start great, but it finished a lot better. Did you start to see that year, the 2014-15 season, maybe even after Christmas when Pete took over, that, hey, we're starting to build something here?
Yeah, I think that was a key point that you just said when Pete took over. Obviously, we had kind of some stuff going on and with people that were managing the team, but I think that was kind of a big shift for guys, especially guys that had been there for a while, like Wonger and Giorgio. I think they could kind of see that that someone at the helm that was really after their best interest and really wanted to put a good team out there. So, and even some moves like bringing in Braden Burke. Actually, he played a couple of games that in the end of that year, and you could kind of see some seeds, and people kind of went into that summer just like we got some players that could play, so it might take a bit, but we expect to be competent. So and competent was more than we could ask for in the first year and a half. So I think guys just kind of came into that next season really excited and really kind of thought that we could play with anyone. So
the feeling that I got around the team at that time is kind of like a rejuvenation aspect. When Pete took over, you guys started to play, just below 500 hockey, which was a lot better than what you had seen in the year and a half prior. And going into that off season, Pete made it very clear, I'm not coaching anymore. We're going to hire a coach. And he hired Brent Kissio. How much of an effect did Kissio have to the group that was already there? The guys that you mentioned, Braden Burke, Giorgio Estefan, Tyler Wong, Andrew Nielsen, some pretty good players. Mm-hmm. How much of an effect did Brent have?
Real positive. Like I have nothing but good things to say about Kiss. He's just a kind of a leader of men, and we had some guys in there that were ready to take steps and ready to be big time players in the league and on the team. So he did a good job of kind of setting the tone right from when we came in, and even throughout the summer when it was announced that he was coaching, reaching out to guys and kind of just setting expectations. I mean, I don't know if there was expectations before that, but I think he could see the group that we had and the guys that we had coming back and knew that we could compete. So just kind of getting that in our heads right away and not just bringing in a new coach and going to go through the same things that we had gone through the past 2 years. So really good. Yeah.
He, of course, came from the Calgary Hitmen, who had so much success with him at the helm and such a great organization. That first training camp with Brent, maybe one of the toughest training camps, most high-paced training camps I've ever seen in my time covering hockey. How was it from a player standpoint? Because, boy, was it pretty intense.
I remember it being hard. I remember us kind of going through hard workouts. We had kind of also just signed up with Trevor Hardy, one of our trainers. So a new shift and new kind of emphasis on like off-ice stuff. And I think it was a thing like guys kind of came in and it was a new coach, and you kind of want to make a good first impression with that guy because he's going to decide how much you're going to play. So I think that had a lot to do with it too. Kind of guys weren't taking training camp for granted. Like it was kind of a proving time to decide where you're going to play in the lineup. But yeah, it was a hard training camp and it prepared us well for that season. So
was it one of the hardest ones you've ever been a part of in your playing career?
Yeah, I would think so. I remember Seattle being difficult and kind of doing those same off-ice stuff along with on-ice stuff. And then I kind of had some interesting ones, like kind of halfway in between on my 20-year-old year and kind of halfway in between on my other one. So that one and my first one in Seattle was kind of a wake-up call to just the pace and the kind of the expectations both on and off the ice that the teams have for you. So
that first year with Brent at the helm, you guys win 46 games and you come out of the gate absolutely on fire. I think at one point you guys had won close to 10 in a row and really came out of the gate with something to prove and didn't let up on that throughout. After being a part of the 12-win season in 13-14 and then that transition year in 14-15, how gratifying was it to start to see some success as a member of the Lethbridge Hurricanes that first year with Kissio?
Yeah, I mean, it was pretty awesome. And especially being a guy that kind of had been there for the 12-win season, that just kind of to see something through like that, I think is pretty gratifying. And just, I don't know, winning's fun. Like we there wasn't much fun to be had in the first couple of years with everything that was going on. But when you get a good group of guys that just enjoy being around each other and can take care of business on the ice, it's makes a good recipe for having fun at hockey. So.
Do you still keep in touch with a lot of those guys? I know you're good friends with Tyler Wong and I'm sure others too, but who do you keep in touch with off that team?
For sure. Yeah. I try and see those guys honestly probably once a summer and run into some of them a little more. Riley Lindgren, Core Pankwitz, Giorgio, Vanderbliss, those type of guys. Like I still talk to them a lot, and I play youth sports against Lindgren right now. So we get to see each other probably 4 times a year. So that's still good. And yeah, I usually try and do something in the summer with those guys. And yeah.
Going into your 20-year-old year, I mean, it's always tough as a 20 in the WHL because it's a numbers game and there's only 3 spots to be had. When you were traded to Victoria, what was the emotion like having gone from where you started with the Hurricanes, building to the success that you had in your 19-year-old season, to not being able to see it through in your final year?
Yeah, we like the kind of 4 of us, me, Wonger, Lindy, and Cord. I mean, we right from the end of the season, we kind of knew, even before we knew what was one of the 3 was going to be gone. So, and I don't know, you try and come in with positive attitude and just kind of play your best and see what happens with those decisions. But yeah, it was a sad day. Said goodbye to a lot of good friends and said goodbye to a place in Billets that I had lived with for 3.5 years and are still family. So all that was tough. But at the end of the day, you kind of realize that Pete had a tough decision, and you could look back and say what could have been. But at the end of the day, Pete did a lot for me and put me in a place where he thought I could succeed in Victoria. So I always have like utmost respect for Pete for doing that. But yeah, it was a tough day. I do remember going in to talk to Pete and that being hard on both of us, and then saying goodbye to Bill, saying goodbye to the guys. And then that next morning, I think I drove to Victoria straight. So, and then you kind of, on that drive, you kind of realize like, well, you got to make the best of this situation. So there's no sense of sulking about it, and I got, no complaints about Victoria. So.
Yeah, talk about the Victoria experience because, of course, as you know, I'm a Vancouver Island guy, and when I was growing up, the Royals didn't exist, and they moved there. I think it was 2011 or 2012. What was the experience like being a Royal? How did the community embrace the team there?
Awesome. Being a Royal in Victoria was a really good experience. It's just like a first-class organization. They treat guys with utmost respect. With Dave Lowry and Cam Hope there, really good. We had an okay season, kind of up and down, kind of middle of pack in a tough Western Conference. But I mean, if anyone has like been out to Victoria, it's just a beautiful place to live, and probably like top 3 places to play junior, I would say. Good group of guys, really good coaching staff, guys that I still keep in touch with on the team. So all good from Victoria. They really treated guys with respect and treated them well. That the owner took care of their players. So.
I look at your stat line in the WHL. In your first year, 9 points, 105 penalty minutes. Your second year, 21 points, 103 penalty minutes. Your 19-year-old year, a breakout year, 31 points, 10 goals, 77 penalty minutes, and then you ended your career with Victoria, 105 penalty minutes. Do you regret not getting to that 100 mark in that 19-year-old season?
No, not one bit. Yeah, I don't know. I think it was a thing in my first couple of years. I had fought, and I kind of thought that I needed to do that to play. And even in that 19-year-old year, I had some, but I was even trying to just limit other penalties and just contribute in a different way, find different roles, like be kind of the leader of the PK and do things to find yourself some ice time, not having to do that. I don't think that's a sustainable way to play hockey. So no, it would have been nice, but it's okay.
How much pride do you take in being that kind of agitator when you play hockey? Because I'm sure you still play that way with the Huskies.
Yeah, and I do. I think it is part that, and I think I'm just kind of a uber competitive guy. That's always kind of been an outlet to do that for me. So I would say I pride myself on being competitive, and if that manifests it's in being a pest to the other team, I'm happy to do that as well. So, yeah, and obviously in university, it's a bit of a different. There's no no one's fighting in there, so I've kind of been a good transition, and just kind of let me let me be a pest and do other things well, and kind of stay away from that. So.
Talk about the university experience, because you're taking advantage of the WHL Scholarship program, and maybe touch on that. How important has that been to you now in your fourth year of university, taking advantage of what the WHL offers?
Yeah, it's pretty awesome. You get set up with opportunities to kind of play university hockey wherever you may like, or if you don't want to, so be it too, and have the opportunity to kind of not be in the position where most students, when they go to school, you kind of like take classes with people, and people are really grinding to just get through tuition payments, have a part-time job, and do that kind of stuff, and doing that in the WHL just puts you in a good spot to really enjoy school and take advantage of whatever you may want to study, and then still have the opportunity to play hockey too. So I think that's been a big thing, and a lot of guys coming out still want to play high level hockey and get an education while they're doing so.
Talk about U of S Huskies, such a storied program. Of course, we know Peter Anholt's a proud alumni of the Huskies program. You saw it on his face last year at the University Cup in Lethbridge, and I'll ask you that coming up. But what has the whole program been like for you and the experience of playing at that level?
Awesome. It's been awesome since day one, and I knew it. I knew guys that had been there and played there in the past. Obviously, talking to Pete and him being really good friends with our current coach, Dave Adolph, you just kind of know what you're getting into. You know that there's an expectation to win, and there's an expectation that you're going to be an outstanding citizen within Saskatoon or within whatever community. I think that's a big thing. They want people that are good students and who still love playing hockey. So I have nothing but good things to say of U of S. I've enjoyed this will be my fourth year, and I plan to come back for my fifth. I still really enjoy playing hockey and going to school with a really good group of guys. So.
The University Cup in 2019 held in Lethbridge. It had never been held here before, and we'll see what happens if it ever gets held here again before. But how cool was it for you, having played 3.5 years in this city? You talked about the people that you met, the billets you had. How awesome was it to come back to Lethbridge to play the University Cup?
Really cool. It was a really cool experience. I will kind of always consider Lethbridge like second home, especially with the connection that I have with the Billet family, the Johnsons. But it was really cool. I got to see them, got to see all kind of other people that are just kind of around the Lethbridge hockey community, and just even people from the Hurricanes, and kind of stop in and were helping, even Kathy Hong, who kind of set up the whole tournament. It was really good. It was a really cool experience. It didn't end how we wanted to, and that's a bit of a, I guess, theme with us so far going to nationals. But at the end of the day, to get to nationals and to kind of have that experience in Lethbridge is something I'll always remember.
So on the educational front right now, what are you taking? What are you studying? What do you want to be? I'm sure professional hockey is still on the radar for you, but what do you want to be when you come out of school? What's on the horizon?
So I'm in my fourth year of ag business is the program. So it's in the agriculture college. The past couple summers I've done I would say not an internship, but kind of a summer student with Federated Co-op, working at different ag retail centers. No idea what the future holds. Ag within my family and Saskatchewan is a big thing. I always knew that, but working in the industry, you kind of realize that it fuels the province. You get out of the city, and that's what's going on out there. So I think just kind of being a part of that and doing whatever I can, whatever kind of comes of that. But yeah, so I have another year of that. Like you said, hockey, I have some visions of maybe trying to play somewhere, going overseas. And we send guys to the hockey leagues, or in the UK, I'm just blanking on the name. But so that's the vision. And maybe just doing that some with some guys on our team. But yeah, I got 2 more years of school. Hopefully some new experience with summer jobs in the summer, and kind of see what happens with that. So.
Well, whatever it is, we know you'll be successful at it. I guess the last question for you, when you think of the 3.5 years as a Lethbridge Hurricane, the experience of coming back for the University Cup last year, what does Lethbridge mean to you? What does the Lethbridge Hurricanes organization mean to Carter Folk?
I mean, Lethbridge would always have like a special place in my heart, like especially with the Billets. The Johnsons are awesome to me. I've kind of watched their 2 young boys grow up, and actually the first one is just heading into grade 9 this year. So it's kind of a eye-opening how fast that goes. And I mean, the Lethbridge Hurricanes are kind of the ones that gave me my chance at hockey. Although Seattle drafted me, I think it was Lethbridge that kind of first gave me the chance to play, and just lifelong friends. Those like the core kind of group that we hang around with. Those are going to be my friends forever. So you take those memories, you take the memories of the success, you take the memories of some of the losses and the tough losses there. But all in all, I mean, I owe a lot to junior hockey, and a lot of that is to Lethbridge. So
I think it's a perfect way to end it. Carter Folk, appreciate the time and best of luck moving forward in year 4 in university, and hopefully playing hockey again at some point soon.
Awesome. Thanks, Justin.
All right, there is Carter Folk on another edition of a Saturday Sit Down. We hope you enjoyed it.